So hello. This is Lorelia, and we are midway through this 10-day series, Breaking Free of Income Limitations. And so today we are at day 6. And so yesterday I left off with what type of assets do you want to create? Because I explained to you that if you truly want to explode your income, if you truly want to transition from working for money to having work for if you want to truly, my mistake, if you truly want to transition from you working for money and having money work for you, you must understand the correlation or the example that I've made between linear income versus leverage income. And I can't drill that home enough, because if you do not understand that piece of it, you won't understand the other information I'm sharing with you. So I left off with explaining to you yesterday that your goal is to have some way to generate residual and passive income. And I explained to you that one way to do it is to create an asset, not buy an asset, but create an asset that you can create that is based on your knowledge, skills, of abilities. It doesn't matter what it is that you do, as long as you know something about it and you can share with others how they could also um, be able to use what it is that you're sharing. So basically, what you're doing is you're providing value to another person based on what it is you know, which is your knowledge, skills, and abilities. And so I had shared with you that the way that you would do it is that you could create a blog or a website around your knowledge base, or you can create some type of book or ebook. If you are a musician, you can create some type of original music. There are many platforms out there on the internet that let you sell your own original music. If you're an artist and you have art that you want to sell, there are many places online, communities that you can be part of, where you could begin to sell your art to people who may be interested in what it is that you do, in the art arena. And then you have photography. If you're someone who is a photographer, and yes, there are places online where you can sell your photographs, and you will receive some type of residual and passive income. So now, want to go more into, just in case if you're still not clear on what I mean about creating an asset. When I talk about creating an asset, I am talking about you creating what I would consider your least generating type of asset. Most of the time, when people think of assets, they think of tangible items, real estate, business inventory. The list goes on and on. But see, I'm talking about the intangible things, things that you cannot feel or touch unless you begin to produce it. And then you may could feel and touch it. And so your intellectual capital, your intellectual property is your smarts. If you notice, the first bullet point says your knowledge, skills, and abilities. And that is what it is. It's really the least generating asset that you can actually have, and especially if you're a business owner. A lot of times, and I didn't even know this myself, when I was operating a business, a lot of times when you ask business owners, okay, what type of assets do you have, they start to tell you the tangible things that they have in their business. And then when you ask them, okay, well, what about the intangible things? They never think about their expertise and what it is that they've gained, to be able to be of value to others. And I know you're wondering, okay, Lorraine, I'm not a business owner. How does this relate to me? I'm just someone who works a 9 to 5. Well, it goes back to your knowledge, skills, and abilities. What is it that you enjoy doing? What is it that people always come to you for the answer for? It can be something as simple as, you're the one who makes the best peach cobbler in the family. And so every holiday, people come to you to be able to make this great peach cobbler. So that is an example of your intellectual capital. Because I know you wonder, okay, Loretta, how does making peach cobbler relate to being online? Well, once again, if you did some type of video tutorials showing people how they could make peach cobbler, maybe you had a website where you're giving people, instructions on, how to do a quick peach cobbler, or how to do a homemade peach cobbler. The list goes on and on. And so the next bullet point is to talk about, okay, Loretta, I understand where you're going, or uh where you're coming from in terms of intellectual property or intellectual capital. But the point that I want to make with this second bullet point is, yes, it can be monetized. That is where you should be having your aha moment. Because if I've already explained to you about you beginning to create your own assets, then of course the goal is to have those assets to produce you some money. And so that is where the monetization aspect of what I'm talking about comes from. And you should have already had your aha moment in terms of what type of income is it going to create for you. And so you should be wondering, well, what type of income is it going to create for you? Because remember, the goal is to create an asset where it can provide some type of passive or residual stream of income. You do not want to create something where you are personally involved, meaning that in order for that person to get hold to it, or to basically have access to it, you have to be physically involved. Because if that's the case, that totally disregards the leverage piece of what I was talking about. And the third bullet point is really what I talked about when I first introduced this slide, about how your intellectual capital is your least performing asset. It's the asset that basically no one, really talks about. It's the asset that's never even mentioned to any person, throughout life. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. During 2009, when I was experiencing a devastating business loss, business was failing. No one told me that I could not have a failing business, and I could begin to seek other ways to monetize what it is that I know. So there you go. It took some research. Because the professionals that I was among, they were not doing it. So a lot of times, this conversation may be um new to you, or it may be not familiar to you, because you're not around individuals who are talking about what it is that I'm discussing with you. So that's why, if you're here, if you're listening, if you're paying attention, or you're taking part of this series, you should it should begin to awaken a different side of, your brain. Because this is maybe something that you may be unfamiliar with. But once again, I told you in the first slide, I want you to begin to, explore some of the things that I have told you. If you don't want to take my word for it, begin to ask questions, begin to do research, so you can learn more. So going back to, I know I got on a tangent, but I want to go back to ways to monetize your intellectual property. Once again, you could create an information product. Of course, you would like, I always suggest that it be digital, because it should be something that a person can have immediate access to, and it doesn't involve you to be physically, part of the process. But if you do want to go non-digital, you should consider having some type of fulfillment company to be able to do the orders for you, because you don't want to create an information product where you are physically involved, meaning that every time someone put an order in, okay, you got to be the one to put it together, you got to be the one who ships it out, you got to be the one to make sure it's on time. You want to be, you want to create something, whereas one, it can be digital, downloaded already, or two, if you do want to make it physical, let it be fulfilled by another company, of course, using your information. You can create some type of ebook. I also, what I should have added on here is that you can also create a regular book. I know I have created several ebooks as well as a physical book, and of course, that book is sold on a major platform, which is Amazon. And once again, I am not part of the selling process. If the individual is interested in buying a book, they buy it right off of Amazon. And so, Amazon takes their commission, they provide me a royalty for it, and there you go. If you buy it, as an ebook, it's automatically downloadable. Going back to, for the photographers out there, ways that you can monetize what it is that you do is the photography. I'm no photographer, but I don't sell photography, but I do know photographers online that are making a very good living and income selling their original photographs. And then you have the music for you musicians out there. The days are now over where, can I get a record deal? Now, I didn't coin this phrase, but I've heard it from someone else. The gatekeepers are gone. You can now be able to produce music, create music, and put it out there and sell it. Create a fan base and you can sell it. And then once again, this is one that is very close to what it is that I do, is, having a blog. I am a big advocate of, as you know, throughout this whole series, is owning your content. And no better way to do it online is to have a blog. Once again, you have a blog, you share your expertise, you connect with others who are interested in your information. And so there you have it. We are now getting to a close with day 6. And so once again, now you should begin to start to think about what it is that you do. What do you actually do that, or that you enjoy doing, that is part of your knowledge, skills, and abilities, that you can now begin to package to provide to others who may be looking for what it is that you want. So, as you can see right now, if you are watching this on YouTube, or any other platform, and we're not, you're not connected with me yet, I ask you to please go to www.getfinanciallysmart.com. You'll learn more about me. Once again, I can't stress this enough. My story was basically in 2009. I was suffering from a failing business, baby on the way, and I needed a new way to be able to sustain myself. And that is how I discovered how I can use the internet to do that for me. And so you'll learn more about me telling my story once we get personally connected at www.getfinanciallysmart.com. And if you want to learn more about the series that I'm doing, don't forget to go there. You will also get access to day 1 along with all the way to day 10, and then what's the next step. And I'll talk more about that at the end of the series. So once again, this is Lorelia signing off. Look forward to talking to you on day 7 and signing off. Okay, bye bye.